Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered. I'm your host, Jermaine, and today we're going to talk about my time at DreamHack Atlanta 2026. I'm fresh back from driving 4.5, 5 hours from Atlanta, and I gotta say, I had an amazing time, came back with a lot of lessons, and today I'm going to share those lessons with you. But before we get started, if you haven't shared the podcast with anybody who is a Black content creator and a Black creator in general, and that's anything from making music, art, streaming, YouTube videos, all of those things consist of being a creator, please share the podcast with them. I came back inspired, met a lot of dope Black content creators, and I will be doing more interviews with these creators in the near future. Now, let's start with the con itself. Well, before we get to DreamHack, there was a Creator Summit event that was held on the Thursday before DreamHack, and I was invited to that. So of course I went and I got a lot of useful information from there. It was interesting to hear some of the talks that were there. They had a panel that had pretty much all of the streaming platforms. I mean, they had Twitch, Kick, and I believe the other company there was Owned, which I still need to do some research on to see exactly what Owned is used for. But their big tagline was, I own my own shit. So clearly has something to do with owning your own brand and taking your brand forward to these different platforms. But hearing from the Kick representation made me realize why I've never jumped on Kick. Some of the things, and I didn't record it, I wish I did, and hopefully it is recorded, because some of the things he was saying, I don't think anybody would believe me if I just said it out loud. So I'm not going to recycle rumors or say anything like that, but just know that what you think a person who works at Kick is like, you're probably right. Unfortunately, it was weird, but he did drop a few gems, and I think everybody at this event and the conference itself, I kept hearing the same theme, and it's a theme that I've been preaching for years now, that you need to show up as your authentic self. Especially with AI on the rise, you can tell when a video is using an AI script, or you can tell when a video was edited by AI. It just doesn't have the same feeling or the same personality that a raw video from somebody authentic does. And I think with all of these AI programs rising for music, for videos, for programming, I think people are starting to get scared and they're like, whoa, let me just use AI and give me a script and go from there. I will say this, one thing that breeds content creators who are successful are those who are showing up as themselves. Some of the people I met this weekend simply was like, I just started making videos about Beyblades, or I was making videos about Gundams, and now I'm here. Like, I just kept pushing. I kept moving forward. I kept doing what I thought was fun. I kept doing what engaged me. I kept doing what made me happy. And eventually it all panned out. And I think that is something that most content creators overlook or are not aware of, is that so many of the people that we see in the entertainment business or creators, they believed in themselves. They were very stubborn, didn't listen to what other people said. They had an idea and they executed an idea. There was a creator there who was super into Roblox. Like, that's all his content is. He has 4 YouTube channels. He just plays Roblox for the entire time. But because he enjoys it and because he knows that community, he's making a good amount of money for himself. And so many people told him not to do it. So many people told him that, Roblox is drying up. And he said, no, I'm doing this. He was super antisocial before jumping into this endeavor, but he knew this is something that he was passionate about. He knew this was something that he wanted to do. So he pushed forward. And today he is a successful partner on YouTube, making money, has, like I said, 4 different channels, and he's doing what he loves. So many of us keep ourselves at bay, or we're too comfortable with the life that we have now. And when we think about the future, when we think about becoming a content creator, when we think about how we're going to pay our bills or how we're going to get paid to do the things that we love, we only focus on what we don't want. We only focus on the outcomes that are not ideal, the outcomes that equal, hey, You didn't make it, get back to your 9 to 5 or get back to finding something else to do. This isn't for you. And it's so much easier to do that rather than to believe in yourself. I think I said this last week or maybe the week before, or at some point in my tenure here. I think a lot of people are afraid to not only be disappointed, but they fear the unknown. Content creators have the best opportunity to create the life that they want because a large part of obtaining success is being able to think outside the box, being able to see the future you want, feel the future you want, and move towards it. So when something comes up that could be construed as a roadblock or a setback, with that creativity, you can spin that to your advantage. And that goes with anything in life. There was an incident that happened over the weekend. I'm not going to get too much into it, but we were in a restaurant and essentially there was like 20 of us, probably 20, 25 of us. And rather than tell us up front that the bill would be only be able to be split 5 ways, they let us enjoy our time. They let us eat. And at the end of the time when we were all trying to check out, mind you, this was a barcade because we're also going to play some video games. There were at least 4 of us who were going to throw some hands in Tekken. That all changed because they were like, well, you have to buy enough for everybody in the party. I'm like, everybody in the party doesn't want to play video games. And the fact that they tried to this math, I think it was like a $700 bill. They wanted to split it 5 ways. Not fair to the people who only got an appetizer or maybe who only got a drink. No, they were like, well, we don't want to know. We don't want to miss anything that was ordered. And the entire time I'm sitting there, I could have been upset. In the past, I would have been. In the past, I would have said something. I would have got loud. But I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? It's all going to pan out. It's all going to pan out. It'll figure itself out. And there were some there that got upset, rightfully so, I suppose. But I knew in my mind, if I got upset, that could escalate quickly. If I got upset, I would be taken out of this joy that I have right now, being around like-minded individuals who are doing something with their lives that they have been told is impossible, that they're told that is a hard road to travel and you're better off not doing it. I was enjoying that time with those people. So I wasn't about to let somebody not knowing how to use a computer upset that. So I stayed calm, I stayed collected, and I stayed focused on why I was there and how I was feeling in the moment prior to them trying to rain on my parade. And it went well. And it just reminded me that in those times where things seem to be going awry or seem to be going not the way that I intended, I can focus on other things. I can focus on what does make me happy. And I can recognize that me being super upset or pissed off in the situation, it's not going to be good for anybody. So I stayed calm and eventually everything got sorted out, which of course it did. It's not like we're not going to pay or that they were going to go. It was, of course it got worked out. So I just want everybody to remember, if you had an idea to do something, if the thought of making content popped up into your head, it is on you to pursue it. I know it's easy to fall into those traps of worrying about things that you don't want, but that's just what it is a trap. And if you fall into that trap, it is possible to get out of it. It is possible to be successful while in that trap. But the journey towards what you want in life is going to be that much more rocky. It's going to be harder because you're not enjoying your time while you're in it. If you can find a way to enjoy the things that you need to do in order to achieve that life, the journey to that life is going to be much sweeter for you. It's on me to continue to make the content that gets out to people who need to hear this. And I take full responsibility for that. When I get a client who comes to me and they're like, oh, I feel anxious about going live on TikTok, it's my responsibility to get them through that anxiousness, to get them to the other side of being excited and ready to do the things they need to do to achieve their goals. And while some might think that that is a burden too much for them, I revel in the opportunity to actually do it. It excites me. I love solving issues. That's why I jumped into IT, because I love solving problems. I love figuring out how things work, why they work, and finding out the most efficient way to correct that issue. Unfortunately, the place where I last worked did not value that talent that I had. And I was like, you know what? It'd be better if I use this talent for good, meaning for people who actually want to make a difference in their life versus for somebody who is making an insane amount of money off my talent or off my work and not appreciating what I could bring to the table overall. So again, Thursday was dope. Got to meet a bunch of cool people. There was a situation. It's not even a situation. I'll put it like this. If someone has ever like crossed me or done something that I personally don't approve of or has moved in a way that is unbecoming to who I associate with, who I like spend time with, who I would say, yeah, that's my homie. If you ever cross that barrier, like there's no coming back for me. I'm 43. Yeah, I'm 43. I don't have time to go back and forth with people, letting them know why I don't fuck with them. No, if you get into the status of Crip doesn't fuck with me, then that's just it. We're done. I think a lot of people feel like they're owed an explanation when somebody says, no, I don't want to hang out with you, or just no in general. If you ask somebody a question and they say no, you do not have the right, or it is not your privilege to ask them why. You take that no and you move on about your life. People don't owe you an explanation for why they don't want to do something. And I think a lot of people think that that is not the case. A lot of people think they're owed explanations for things. And I don't think that at all. And I don't lose any sleep over telling somebody no and walking the other way. It's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps my peace. And it what keeps me focused on the task at hand. So if we ever have an issue, just letting you know out there, and I just don't talk to you, or if you ask me a direct question, I just say no, don't expect an answer, like a reason. Don't expect an explanation back. It's not happening. But luckily, it didn't get out of hand, and I did not see that person for the rest of the weekend. So I didn't have to go off with anybody, which is always a good thing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were the main event days for the con itself. I was supposed to be on a panel on Sunday. Unfortunately, emergency happened, so the panel got canceled. But even with that, I still met so many other Black content creators, hearing other people's stories, hearing people's struggles in real life, in like real time, face to face, was very valuable for me as a mindset coach, because I can hear their stucknesses. I can see the things that they were allowing to hold them back. And I know it only takes a conversation to fix that. So it got me reinvigorated to start making the content that's going to reach the people who want this assistance, who have thought, man, why do I feel this way? Or if I wasn't so anxious, I would be to the moon. Like, this is the only thing holding me back. Most of the material out there says that anxiety is something that you are, or being depressed is something that you are, or being an imposter is something that you are. And I feel like these are all things that we experience in our lifetime. It's not something that makes us. It's something that temporarily defines us until we update the data that our mind is using to cause us to think that. Again, feelings and emotions are all used by the unconscious mind to get us to do something. So if you're feeling anger in moments, you need to figure out, why is my mind pushing up anger in this situation? What am I supposed to be doing? And again, anger is one of those emotions that I don't think is necessary in this day and age. I think it could be vital if you're like in a life or death situation, but when you are in a restaurant and somebody is telling you one thing and you feel it different, anger is not what you want to be feeling in that moment, because again, it robs you from creativity. It robs you from critical thinking. It puts you in a state of flight or fight. And that's how mistakes happen. So overall, the con was super dope. Like I said, I met a lot of cool people. I met a lot of good contacts. Zenny was there, and that's all I rock nowadays is Zenny glasses. So I'm definitely going to be hitting them up, see if we can get something on the books, work together, make a piece of content, whatever it may be. But it just And these events always do this for me. It just solidified that what I want to do with my life and the vision that I have for the work that I want to do is exactly what's needed. So for this week, I'll be not catching up, but solidifying what the next step or the next move is for my content. Definitely going to be hitting the mindset stuff strong. Definitely figured out a way that is going to hit my target audience, because I realize that not everybody wants the help that I provide. Not everybody wants to really think about their emotions or really think about their feelings and adjust them so they work for you rather than against you. Not everybody wants that, and that's okay. That is okay. I will seek the ones that do want my assistance, help those people, and together we will bring in more Black content creators making content, showing who they are authentically. And I feel and I know that that will take over the narrative that is always out there, that is usually not controlled by us. I think the more voices that we have, the better off we will be. I think it's very vital for young Black kids, boys, girls, to see people that look like them in this space, people that look like them in music, movies, TV shows, the news, like doctor's office. It's important that we see ourselves in these spaces because we do belong. No matter what the government says or no matter what anybody says, we belong in these spaces. And I'm to my own horn. When we are in these spaces, we thrive. We usually come out the best. We get emulated all the time. People constantly steal our content, constantly steal our flow, constantly try to implement our blueprint, but they can't do it like us. So with that, I just wanted to remind everybody that, again, if you have a dream to do something, please chase after that dream. Chase the nose, chase down the fear, do things while fear is still present if that's what you need to. Or you can give me a call, hit me up on TikTok or Instagram, set up a session, and we can talk about whatever it is that is holding you back and eradicate it so you can do what you need to do in this lifetime. Other than that, I appreciate y'all listening. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this platform and bring the random thoughts that pop into my head in regards to mindset and content creation in general to those who are willing to listen. Appreciate y'all. And as always, protect your mental, keep creating content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.